Let's face it, the job application process is broken. You spend hours updating your resume only to get rejection emails filling up your inbox. Deep down, you know you're worth being interviewed, but are struggling to get companies to recognize this. If you feel this way, you're not alone. In this video, I'm going to break down the journey I've been on to fix the broken job application system and show you exactly how you can do the same. The first thing I want to mention is that it's completely normal to feel like you've failed in the past or currently feel overwhelmed at the idea of landing a job that you care about. It's not your fault. The world around us has been set up to make us conform to suboptimal conditions. It's okay to struggle because that shows you're trying to become better. If you have concern over the thought of tailoring your resume to every job that you apply to and feel like it's a lost cause or that it's far too difficult for you to handle, I want to put those fears to rest. You can do this. You just need to understand how the system works. The job application process is controlled by these large corporations who get thousands of applicants for every job posting. Companies like Google, Amazon, Apple, and Meta all have high demand and have had to develop a system to filter down applicants to the most qualified ones. This is great for the big guys, but sucks for us little guys applying. You're set up for failure from the beginning. It's simply a numbers game, and not everyone that applies gets an interview. So how do you better stand out against the competition? In this video, I'm going to take you through the complete application process so you understand where your shortcomings might be. There are 2 sections of this 5-part system that you'll really need to pay attention to, so I hope you're ready to take some notes. Once you understand the system at large, it's time to focus on what's within your control, making a killer resume. Stick around through the entire video as I'll reveal my top 5 resume secrets and deliver you a special AI-powered opportunity to rapidly speed up the job application process. But first, a little bit about why I got started on this whole journey. I started investigating why the job application process was so broken when I too was looking for new jobs. I applied to hundreds of jobs and kept getting the same infuriating denial emails. I was demoralized, feeling like I was worthless and had no real skills. I started to get depressed and was ready to give up on the job search. After sharing my frustrations with my family and close friends, they encouraged me to give it another shot. I decided to start fresh and begin my job search with some new strategies. I did a ton of research and reverse engineered the job application process. I'll go deep into detail later on the video on that. One of the biggest takeaways that I learned from my search is that my resume had to be custom tailored for the job that I was applying to. Even with a perfect resume, it still takes a ton of outreach to land an interview. One of the statistics that I found in my research was that the average applicant sends out 50 resumes before getting their first interview. Because of the significant amount of effort involved in customizing my resume, I went on the hunt for a tool to streamline that process. I realized through extensive research that no such tools existed, so I tasked myself with building one from scratch. Stick around until the end of the video and learn all the tips that I found along the way and gain exclusive access to the revolutionary resume AI software, which will speed up your application process. I know if you've made it this far into the video, you're certainly eager to understand how you can better stand out in the job application process. I want to show you exactly how you can make that happen. For the rest of this video, my goal is to help 2 types of people. For those who have not yet figured out what their career goals are, this video will help you with a framework to answer this complex question. And for those of you who have defined their career goals and are actively applying, you're going to learn how to become more productive so that you can achieve a higher application to interview ratio. So let's get right into it. The first step is to get clear on your career goals. What type of jobs are you applying to? If you don't have a topic that you're interested in or a problem that you deem worth solving, the hiring managers will see your lack of passion and pick a more enthusiastic candidate. Make sure that you're not just applying to jobs to make you more money. You have to truly care about the problems that you'd be solving in the roles that you're applying to. If this is something that you're currently struggling with, I highly recommend you pause this video right now and go check out our video on finding the right career. This is truly the place to start if you want the best chances of getting a meaningful job. For those actively applying, pay close attention. It's time to reverse engineer the application process, giving you the knowledge that you need to optimize your job hunt. One of the benefits I took away from my engineering education was the depth of knowledge I retrieved on systems. Systems are all around us, and with the right knowledge on the topic, you can use it to your advantage to make your time far more effective. As a high-level overview, there are only 5 parts to every system: environment, input, process, output, and feedback. The first thing to note is the environment of the system. This is often overlooked, but I would argue it's one of the most important parts. Within the environment, there are inputs, which is what goes into the system next. Then there are processes, which is what interacts with the input to create the next part, the output. All great systems have one last aspect to them, which is feedback. The purpose of feedback is to reflect on the outputs and determine if they're satisfactory. If they're not, there's something that must change, whether it's the environment, input, or process. Without a solid understanding of systems, you're going to waste energy, waste time, be unproductive, and experience frustration from not knowing what actually works, as well as lack consistency as you see no results from your initial efforts. The ultimate benefit of understanding systems is the establishment of control. With a system, you know what you'll get as a result of your inputs. Once you know the theory behind systems, you'll see them all around you. It's one thing to recognize them, but we take it a step further and help you leverage them. The job application process fits perfectly into the 5-part framework. The environment is where you're applying. The input is your resume. The process is the applicant tracking system, or ATS, grading your resume. The output is a graded resume which is reviewed by a hiring manager. The feedback is an email from the hiring manager either moving you on to the next stage or rejecting your application. Let's break down each of these 5 parts of the system a bit more so that you can understand how to leverage them and get more interviews. For the environment, be very considerate of where you're applying. If you're continuously being denied for jobs, ask yourself if you're even applying to the right roles. You need to be well qualified in order to get an interview. If you're a recent college graduate and you're applying for jobs to be a senior engineer, you're never going to see an interview. Once you're confident that you're qualified, consider if the company is even one that you want to work at. Confirm if they align with your values. If you're skeptical if the mission of the brand is in alignment with yours, save yourself the time and do not even apply. Once you vet the company, make sure that you apply directly on their website. There are many of these middleman sites like LinkedIn and Indeed that claim that you can apply right through them. Some even have easy apply features that are designed for you to save time. I'm not a fan of these for 2 main reasons. For one, some believe the ATS filters resumes differently based on where they came from. I believe that you'll get the best chance of getting an interview if you apply directly to the company website. Also, you need to see the complete job description on the company's website to know that you're a qualified candidate and if your resume reflects your skills for the given job. A bonus tip for you is the time of day of application. Some studies have suggested that your resume will do better in the ATS if you upload it between 6 and 10 a.m. My hypothesis for this is that the hiring manager is more likely to see new applicant submissions in the morning before their day gets away from them. They might be in a better mood and have higher level of focus to dedicate towards your resume in the morning, but become impatient in the afternoon and begin skimming through resumes much more quickly. If you have the ability to apply in the morning, give it a try. Next, the input is your resume. The ATS is going to destroy your resume if it doesn't follow a few key principles. This is really how you stand out against the competition, so pay attention. For starters, don't fall victim to the limiting belief that your resume has to be 1 page. This is a false narrative that needs to be put to rest. If you have a significant amount of relevant experience, you should include it all. A 2-page resume is perfectly acceptable and will be far easier for you to properly articulate the value that you provided in your prior work experience. What truly drives results is being articulate with your words. A hiring manager wants to know what you accomplished in your prior work. They want to see you specifically did something which drove a positive change in your prior organization. In order to display this effectively, you should follow the STAR method. The STAR method is not one that I can take credit for. It's a best practice that interviewers love. It can become your secret weapon to make your resume stand out against the competition. The STAR method is a 4-part framework. First is the situation. Give context to the problem. Second is the task. What was your understanding of the task given to you? Third is the action. What action did you specifically make to solve the problem? Lastly is results. As a consequence of your action, what outcome occurred? It's best if you can quantify your impact. Showing how much time and money you saved the company is a big green flag that you're a high impact player. When writing your prior work experience, it's best to use action verbs at the start of the sentence. Words such as led, drove, learned, executed, and initiated all stand out to hiring managers that you were a doer and feed perfectly into the STAR method framework. If you've never seen the STAR method before, this might be a little bit overwhelming. I'll give you an example of a bad bullet point that I helped a client rewrite to better communicate their impact. It started as designed a Six Sigma project in a test dummy lab at the proving grounds. Let's break down this sentence with the STAR method. The situation relates to a problem. From this bullet point, it appears the problem is related to organization of equipment in a lab. The task was to run a Six Sigma project, which is a common engineering framework for making manufacturing environments more efficient. The action made by this particular individual was to design the Six Sigma study. Looks pretty good so far, but it falls apart at the most important part of the framework. You see, the applicant forgot about the result. What was the impact from their work? They may have developed the skill of designing Six Sigma studies, but that's not enough. They didn't properly communicate the result of that study. If a hiring manager was to read this, they would probably be unimpressed. To help this applicant out, I added just a few words to the resume which made all the difference. The after is as follows. Led a design for Six Sigma project for optimizing the amount of test dummies in use, saving $250K per year. For starters, I changed the hook of the sentence to include a more powerful action verb. The word led indicates that the applicant was the lead engineer on this project. Next, I removed the section about where the project was executed. The hiring manager doesn't care if this was at the proving grounds or not. Those few words are a waste of space and are far more valuable to be replaced with the quantifiable impact. As a discussion with this applicant, I learned that the Six Sigma study he ran saved the company $250,000 a year in equipment and labor. This type of impact is huge and is exactly what hiring managers are looking for. Consider this framework for all work experience related bullet points on your resume, focusing heavily on the quantifiable impact. If you're still in a job and are looking to make a transition, before you leave, try to gather information on what impact you've had in your tenure. Remember, to get more job offers, you need experience that is unique and valuable. Even if you're in a job that you hate, you can find meaning by working to develop quality experience that'll differentiate you from other applicants, getting you more interviews and better salary offers. One of the first clients I worked with for our resume refinement program followed this STAR method framework and nearly doubled their salary when they made their first career transition. You too can see remarkable results like this one, but only if you have the experience to back it up. Next, format is king. As previously mentioned, your resume is going to be processed by an ATS. This algorithm is programmed to pull out important details from your resume such as your education, contact information, and relevant work experience. If your document is formatted poorly or uploaded as the wrong type of file, your application could essentially be thrown in the garbage no matter how qualified you are. To help you out with formatting, these are my top 3 tips. Put the most impressive aspect of your resume at the top. Like writing a hook for an ad, you have to grab the attention of the hiring manager. If your resume does make it into the hands of a real person, they're going to spend limited time reading it before moving on to the next. Some studies have suggested that hiring managers spend as little as 6 seconds per resume. Consider what you've done that's going to make you stand out against other qualified applicants. If your first few bullet points are not your most impressive accomplishments, you're most likely going to get thrown directly into the trash. Utilize Microsoft Word to build your resume using its built-in headers to distinguish between key sections. Microsoft Word is the go-to software as many of these algorithms are built to read docx or PDF files. Using the built-in headers will also help the algorithm grab these keywords more quickly. When using Word, make sure that you don't use any additional formatting tools like tables. Write it like a traditional document using headers and bullet points and you'll do just fine. Break your resume into these 4 key sections as well. The first being work experience. Show what you've accomplished in prior work that's related to the job that you're applying to now. The next is leadership experience. Display your leadership ability and give confidence to the hiring manager that you'll be a positive contributor to workplace culture. Carefully review your skills to ensure they display all technical keywords that you possess. If the job description says they use Microsoft Product Suite, make sure that you say that you're proficient with Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. If it says Google, change these to Docs, Slides, and Sheets. The point is to tailor your resume to what the job is looking for without outright lying. Yes, this can be time consuming, but if you stick around until the end of the video, I'll share with you how to use AI to speed this process up. Remove any soft skill buzzwords from your skills section like highly motivated or team player, as these skills will be displayed in an interview. Anyone can claim to be highly motivated, and hiring managers are sick of people inflating their resumes with statements like these. The next section is education. Clearly indicate if you have the appropriate education for the job. stating when you graduated and what your GPA was. If your GPA is under 3.5, then you can get away with not including it on your resume. If it's above 3.5, you'll stand out as a high performer. In reality, if you're applying to a job that's higher than entry level, no one cares about your degree or your GPA. Put education as the last section of the resume for this reason. They primarily care about your work experience. That covers it for formatting. With those 3 tips, you'll be better off than 80% of applicants. Now it's time for the truly difficult task, making your resume relevant to the jobs that you're applying for. If the ATS likes your formatting, it's going to be on the hunt for keywords that match the job description. It's your responsibility to review the job description and find opportunity areas on your resume to change your current wording to include more of these keywords. If you do this properly, your resume will reach the top of the list for a hiring manager to review. The problem is, this takes a ton of time. There's a dual expectation in the job application process that's unfair to you. Apply to a lot of jobs, but customize your resume for each job that you apply to. How can you do both when you have limited time? This is exactly where Resume AI comes in. As I mentioned earlier, all of my research led me to the conclusion that I must customize every application and send out a ton of them. There's not enough time in the day to spend 30 minutes per resume optimizing it for a job. Because of this, I made Resume AI, a feature designed to optimize the keywords of your resume to match the job description. Take advantage of this powerful algorithm to save time while perfecting your resume for your next job application. For sticking around so far through the video, I'm going to open up a special opportunity to you. You can try Resume AI for free today. Simply click the link in the description below and visit the Science website where you can get free submissions to see the power of Resume AI. I highly recommend you follow the best practices outlined earlier in this video before submitting on Resume AI. Our algorithm reads your resume like an ATS would, so if it doesn't provide many improvements, that's a potential sign that your resume is formatted poorly and will struggle to be processed by the companies that you're applying to. Definitely check out Resume AI, but I still have some more tips for you through the remainder of the job application system. We've covered the environment and the input thus far, and the next step is the process. The process section is the applicant tracking system, or ATS for short. Recall that these are used by companies to get the best candidates more quickly. Companies get thousands of applicants but must filter some down in order to find the good ones. They're suffering from a needle in a haystack type situation where they must quickly find the most valuable candidates instead of wasting hours searching through a pile of garbage. Fortunately, the ATS can be used to your advantage if you have a competitive resume. You can become the needle that they're looking for instead of the mounds of hay that are in the way. These algorithms will extract information from your resume based on the keywords and formatting of your resume, ranking you against other candidates. If you don't rank well by the standard of the algorithm, you might never get yourself into the hands of the hiring managers. That plays into the next part of the system, the output. The hiring managers get your resume with comments from the ATS to see what % match it believes you are for the job. With the input from the ATS and a few seconds of review, the hiring manager will make a decision if you're worth reaching out to. That's the last part of the system, feedback. There are only 3 possible outcomes from you submitting a job application. You must understand what all 3 of these feedback loops mean, as it'll better educate you on how to change your input. You either get approved, denied, or no response at all. If you get approved, that most likely means that it's time for a phone screening. This is a great sign and means that you're one step closer to landing the job. Keep applying if this is the case, as you want to get multiple offers to have leverage in the salary negotiations. If you're getting no responses, this is a decent sign that your application is still under review. Either that, or you apply to a company with poor hiring managers who are lazy and don't process a timely response for you. If you get rejected quickly, that means you have a lot of work to do. The ATS put you at the bottom of the list and the hiring manager didn't even bother spending the time to look you over. If this is your situation, I recommend you go back to earlier in this video and take notes on how to update your resume. If you're really stuck, sign up for a free coaching call with our team to help you in the process of writing a better resume. Like everything else in life, it's important to focus on what's within your control, the environment and the input. You have no control over how the ATS works or what a hiring manager will do when they see your resume. What you do control, though, is where you apply to and how good of a resume you input into their ATS. Follow the advice laid out earlier in the video to update your resume and start playing the numbers game with Resume AI. Resume AI is here to save you time and increase your application to interview ratio. Try for free today with the link in the description below and see how many ATS optimizations are added. By uploading your resume and pasting a job description, you'll have a completely revised resume within 30 seconds of submission. putting you on the fast track to landing an interview. Let me know in the comment section below what tip was the most useful for you. If you need more one-on-one help with optimizing your resume, sign up for a free coaching call in the description below. Thanks for watching and good luck landing those interviews.